Sarah, we're
Nicole,
back.
hi.
Oh my God,
My
you sound happy.
goodness.
What's been going on?
I'm having a podcast with you. Oh my
Well,
gosh. What's
I
not to be
mean,
happy about that?
I look forward to talking to you every single opportunity I get. I'm a little less busy than you right now. That was the plan, but and it's
Well,
coming
I did
true.
take over your company. So, you know, this whole, you know, there's a lot to still be learned. But let me tell you, we have some amazing product coming out. Number one, we're continuing the work that you did in spring. So, here in a couple months, all the adorable stuff that you guys made is coming out. And then we're continuing it into fall. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
So,
It's
like,
cute.
what's really cool is to watch you become, you are like, you are becoming a fashion designer, basically. Like,
Yeah,
people would always ask, so do you design the clothing? And I'd be like, no, I'm not a designer, but at the end of the day, when you own the clothing company and you're giving the final approval on everything, you're basically the designer. You and I
it's
just don't
true.
have technical design skills. I actually don't even know how
That's
to
true.
sew. Do you?
I do. I grew up sewing. You should see. Oh, because I
Duh.
was in 4-H because I'm so cool. I was also in band. I just want to put it all out there. Straight up nerd. But yeah, I know I was in 4-H and I would actually compete in the fair. And my grandmother is a master seamstress. But I'll be honest, I actually don't like sewing. Not a fan. I've sewn. In fact, I'm going to send you a picture. I made I made a skirt, a shirt, and a vest, and they're in coordinating. The fabric is either red with white hearts or white with red hearts. It's not stylish at all.
Can I ask if this had, happened during your tenure at Disney?
No, I was like 8 and super awkward.
Well, let me tell you, that kind of combo might still apply today.
Let me send it to you. Maybe
Okay.
we'll
Maybe I'll
we'll
change my mind.
you're gonna be like, ooh, yeah, that's not great. Yeah. So that's why we pay someone else to actually sew and design the clothes, but we oversee the process, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
and you're doing such a great job, and it's so fun to watch you get
Thank you.
stimulated by different parts of the business, and I can tell that, the product line, product function is something
Mhm.
that definitely stirs your juices a little bit.
It does. It does. One, I didn't realize how. I mean, I've been a consumer of athletic apparel my whole life, and I didn't realize how much of an opinion I sort of had or just even a feel for it, and I've learned a ton though just watching you. And I mean, and I think everyone knows this, but let's just say it again. It's the same team designing everything. We really have the same team and the same company creating the fabric and sewing it. It's just that I'm leading the charge instead of you, but I still consult with you often to make sure I'm getting it right. So it's not that, different for those of everyone who loves skirt. It's not that different. So it's been really, really fun to do all that. But we have something even more exciting today. This is new. It's questions from our listeners. Dun dun dun. So we have some different questions that have been posed to us on Facebook or maybe emailed to us or things like that. So we wanted to answer them.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I think the way to do this is we'll just kind of roll with each question and just hammer it out until we've
Yeah.
crucified it to death, and then we'll move on.
Yes. Maybe
Well,
not to death. We have 30 minutes.
speaking of
Maybe.
clothing, I think this is a great one to start with. So
Yes.
there's this whole, like, I don't know, philosophy around race shirts.
Yes.
And what are some of the taboos about race shirts in general? So somebody wrote us and said, "What do you guys think? Can you wear your race shirt before you finish the race?" So why
Mhm.
don't you take that one first? What's your take on that?
I mean, I think you can. Um, I don't. In fact, I actually really like it when everyone kind of runs races in the race shirt. At Disney, people did it all the time. Now, let's put the caveat in. There are race shirts that say, I did it,
Or
right?
finisher.
Finisher. Then no, that's against the rules. You can't wear a finisher shirt while you're racing. I'm just saying, do you think the same or do you have a different opinion?
Totally agree. I mean, I would feel really weird wearing a finisher shirt for a race that
Yeah.
I didn't finish.
Wouldn't you feel like superstitious? Like I'm breaking the universal laws of running and I'm not going to finish this race because I've jinxed myself.
Yeah, totally. I mean, as a race director, of course you want to see people wearing your race shirt, but then maybe you shouldn't put finisher
Don't
on the
put
back.
finisher on it.
Mhm.
No, yeah, don't do that. So
No.
we had at Disney, everyone loved the I did it shirts. So like they would sell them, we would call it concert style, where it's all laid out on a shirt and you just come in and it's like mass selling. So everybody loved those, but we would set up a tent in the finish line area as well because some people were superstitiously would not buy them until they actually finished. And I remember, so I ran the Nike women's half. I ran a couple of times, but the first one, you didn't get your shirt at the expo. As you finished the race, they actually handed out your finisher shirt, which so I think we're not the only ones that feel that way.
Well, so here's the add-on question. Do you wear a race shirt for a race you didn't do? Is that against the rules?
Oh.
If it doesn't say finisher. Well, if it says
Is
finisher,
is it
then
in the
no.
race? Is
Duh.
it in the race or just like in general?
Well, they didn't specify. I think we can create.
Okay. Well, I asked that because I'll give you an example. So I went to Jeff Galloway. He does a retreat in I think it was Lake Tahoe, right? Isn't that like the site of an Olympic training?
Yes.
Yeah. It was beautiful. But what they do, one of the things that you do is like everyone brings a race shirt and then you trade. So like they laid them all out. It was really cool. You laid them all out and then you could like pick ones that you like. So I grabbed like a tank from I think it was a Rock and Roll Arizona, which I never did, but I love number one, I love the tank and so I'll wear it all the time. Because but there was like a meaning to it. So I didn't just like get a race shirt and wear it.
Well,
So
there is this whole other, we donate, and personally, I donate shirts, and we donated
mhm.
stuff at Skirt Sports, and you might too.
Yeah,
And so I would say those are free and clear to be worn by the recipient of the
agreed.
donation for sure.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm not sure it's so bad to wear a shirt for a race that you didn't do because you're
Yeah,
helping promote that race.
that's true. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No.
I what I think is funny is that we all have an unspoken belief about race shirts, which so it's funny that it's been posed. I love it.
I don't know why I just thought of those shirts that say I'm with stupid. Okay, moving on. Um, so I think we nailed that one. What about
Mhm.
this question? This is going to be
Mhm.
close to your heart, especially right now. Here it is. To virtual race or not to virtual race? This is from a listener who is not loving virtual races, but kind of feeling bad about that.
Yes.
So maybe you can speak a little more on this topic of virtual versus in-person races and the pros and cons.
Mhm. I would love to speak about this. So I want to share our most recent virtual race that we did. It was our Women's Day 5K. So on the day of recording, today is March 9th. It won't be published March 9th, but the yesterday was International Women's Day. And so 5 years ago, when I left Disney and kind of started on my Zuma journey, I had conceptualized this idea of women running together across the world, right? And so actually that happened. Do you know we had runners from 28 countries? 28 countries, all 50 US states running together um, for International Women's Day. It was so amazing. We had photos from Tokyo, we had Sweden, Australia, um, Newfoundland, I mean, all these different countries. It was so cool. So to me, that's something you can't actually do. I mean, maybe at like one of the races, like a world marathon major, you have all the countries coming together, but that's still in one place. That's not like all throughout the world. So for me, that's a really cool way to do it. I think also virtual races give the opportunity to do something like if travel prohibits like budget or things like that, it can be expensive to travel places and race. I think virtual races give visibility or access where budget doesn't necessarily allow, let's say. Um, so I like that. Or like for a good cause. I don't know if you know this, but I work with Sesame Street as well. So we've helped them do a virtual run that raises money for Sesame Street and all the good work that they do. So those kinds of things I love, right? Raise money. It's not an expensive thing to do. But I get it. Like to be honest, as especially in the pandemic, I don't really want to do any more virtual races. Like, can we just bring them back? But I think it's okay, like, to feel how you wanna feel about it. That races are so special because you come together as a community and, like, you're there, and there's an energy that simply cannot be recreated when you're running around your block or wherever else it is. So, I get that, and whoever is feeling bad about virtual races, I don't think you should. Like, it's cool if you don't like them. I don't know. How do you feel, Nicole?
Well, I think for people who are like super competitive and like really setting a goal for a race where they want to achieve something like a place or a time, virtual races suck
Yeah,
because they're not, you can't race against, you can be like on Strava, but then I've heard that like
yeah,
two people can like have Strava at the same time and it's a different result and it's not
yeah,
perfect, right?
right.
So I think for the ultra competitive that they are difficult, I think they give you something to do, which
Yeah,
is probably going to roll into one of our next questions. To
yeah.
keep yourself moving forward during times that are a little bit crazy. I actually have participated in the Zuma virtual races, and then recently, even locally, did this crazy weird virtual race that my friend was like, "Hey, it's my birthday. You want to do 5 events in 3 days?" And it's like 30 hours of blah. It wasn't really 30 hours, it was 5 hours.
Mhm.
But like it was those are fun to jump
Yeah,
into. But here's the deal. I did them with friends. It was just like a
yeah,
small group. You're outside, so you feel safe during a pandemic. So here's what's really interesting though. Virtual races started before the pandemic. They've been going on
they
for
did.
years, right? We know this. So
Yes,
what happened during pandemic is just that everything went virtual. And we're
right.
not just talking races.
No,
We're talking seminars, trade shows,
everything.
like, ugh. So we're all kind of over it. So my take would
Yes,
be I prefer in person.
agreed.
Virtual is great as like a stopgap. But
Yeah,
when you really want to make something big happen in your life, there is no greater feeling than crossing a physical finish line, having somebody call your name, being handed a finisher token, and eating
yes,
all the food at the post party.
that's right. Let's get back to that.
Yeah, let's get
I
back to
would
that.
like to put in that we are coming back. Zuma, we have our races, Cape Cod, Amelia Island, Texas wine country, and Bermuda coming up this fall and spring of 2022. So we're coming back. Yes.
Which is
Thank
insane. And we're going
God.
to do a whole episode on the destinations. That's coming soon. As soon as like we're closer to opening
Yeah.
registration, right?
Yes.
So
I think
let's
that's
move
great.
on to then a
Yeah.
question that sort of flows from this, which is how do I fit in my own fitness when I'm managing my family during this pandemic? Sarah, do you want to start?
You don't? Let's see. So okay, I'm not a good example because I haven't done well with this. But I believe there's a reason that Peloton has done amazingly well, and some of these at home, workout things have done well, because there is a ton of content now that's available. So you can get really anything that you want, um, from a workout perspective online, much of it free or at a low cost. And I oh, let me also say that I own this community called Zuma. We are an online community that will help you stay sane. It will help you get your fitness in. Like, we're doing our Fitter, Stronger, Faster challenge. We have a love run challenge. We have a summer challenge. Like, all of those kinds of things that are like great community related, give you good things to work out. We have a coach, all those things. Um, so I think it's you need some accountability. Like, it helps to have an accountability or a community to sort of report back to. Um, and then I think it's less about like, how do I get the content? Because the content's available now. It's how do you commit the time, right? You really just have to be very clear with your boundaries and say, I am working out at this time, not, I think, expect miracles, but even just a few times a week to get in will, I think, make you feel so much better. So that would be my thoughts, is find people to be accountable to, um, make the time for yourself. And then once you've done that, finding the content should be easy. What are your thoughts, Nicole?
I love that. I think that strategy is spot on. I'm going to just sort of add or dig a little
Yeah.
deeper. I'm going to say on your calendar every week, put an appointment for yourself in a specific color code so you know that's your workout, purple or green or
Yes.
whatever. And that is when you do your workout and make it
I like
happen. And
that.
this is something that you said in a previous podcast episode. There is a thing called ruthless prioritization. You prioritize
Yes.
yourself. So that has to happen. The easy thing for us to do is to become martyrs and go, but my kid needs me. I'm not going to take care of me. And it's hard. And now I'm not motivated. I missed my window. You know how many times I've said I missed my window?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And this applies to pooing as well. Let me just tell you, there's something about missing your poop window,
There is.
which is really, really annoying for your whole
Yeah.
day. Side subject. No one asked about that. I just wanted to bring it in, of course.
Well, it's hard to get it back. Like, once
You
it's
can't
back up
know.
in there, it doesn't
If you
always
don't
come out.
poop when you usually poop, you're done for
Yeah.
the day. I mean, or
Mhm.
you're screwed up at night. Anyway, don't miss your poop window. Ruthless
Oh
prioritization.
my God, I love this.
But
Yes.
I think that's really the big thing is you actually will really benefit from getting your key stakeholders on board too. So
Yeah.
whether that is your life partner or your buddies, like you said, your accountability people, those people who are going to have your back. Uh,
Mhm.
I remember when I was, still rocking and rolling skirt sports and we were in it maybe 10 years in, and I just would get really fidgety like an hour into a meeting. And I remember
Yeah.
our other Sarah, previous president of Skirt, she said to me one day, I said, Sarah, what's wrong with me? Like, am I
Mhm.
just like, ADD? She goes, I just think you're not really an office person and you've got to go move. And I was like, I have consent. I
Yep.
have buy-in and she's going to support me doing that. And that like takes a lot of the emotional pressure off of
It
you
does.
thinking you can't do it, right?
Yep.
Cuz you'll be healthier. So, there is no magic bullet. We're not going to
Mhm.
tell you that it's easy to fit your own
No.
fitness in. You just need to make it a priority.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, so as far as like vigorous exercise, or lifting weights or things like that, I've not really been great at that. But I will say, to your point, the fidgety, like, I love to walk. And so I'll take my phone calls outside. I'll just go walk. And again, I know I'm blessed to be in Florida. It's nice and warm here. I can be outside all the time, but I don't sit. I'm moving, whenever I kind of can be, to help not only manage kind of like getting out and that movement goal, but also mental health wise, getting outside, getting vitamin D, those kinds of things I think help as
Love it.
well. So,
Love it.
which I think segues directly into our next question, which is, do you have tips for letting go of the day's stress?
Ooh. Well, I currently don't have that much stress, but I used to. I used to.
Sell your business. That is the tip from Nicole. Sell your business and then your stress level reduces.
Absolutely. Boom. That is it. To be honest, I think there
Mhm.
are a few things that we all benefit from, and we can even go back to the mindfulness episode,
Yes.
which, that is just a really quick and easy tip. If you haven't listened, you should. Adina Crawford's amazing. And you just need a few minutes to literally just
Yeah.
breathe and just recenter yourself. But,
Yes.
I think also this question sort of it makes it seem like we build up stress and pressure throughout a day, kind of like the old workday attitude, which a lot of people
Yeah.
are still in a hybrid mode or a transition mode. And then you come home and you've got this buildup of stress. And where does it usually go? It just sort of like barfs out on your family, which is
Mhm.
not a good situation. So, you looked like you were ready to jump in with some kind of magic tip. Am I
Oh, I was?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
man.
were, I saw it.
Well, it was actually I was gonna talk about our podcast with Adina about mindfulness because that was really life-changing for me. I was like, "Oh, you don't have to do an hour of yoga to, like, be stress-free. You can literally just center yourself for a few minutes, focus on your breathing, and let go of the day's stress." I will say, one thing that I've also come to understand is, that I always feel like my plate is full, right? And I thought, "Oh, well, if I just leave my corporate job, and start my own business, life will get easier," right? If I just, made enough money to pay the bills, I will it'll get easier. But it doesn't really. I've come to understand it's a choice in a lot of ways of saying to myself, "Okay, you did enough today. Let the rest of it go and also trust that you did the right things that day and that the rest of them will get done tomorrow, and it's okay to let go of the stress. It'll get done. It's okay, and if it didn't get done, it didn't need to be done. There's so many of those like, "Oh, well, it has to be done perfectly," and this it doesn't actually. If it's a higher level priority, this goes back to ruthless prioritization. If it has to get done, it'll get done. If it doesn't have to get done, maybe you'll do it or maybe you won't. But that doesn't mean that you're lazy, procrastinating, unable to, do all the things you need to do. It just meant that it wasn't actually that important. And that's cool. Let it go, breathe, and be done.
Let
How
it
about
go,
that?
breathe, and be done. I will say a little bit of physical movement always helps
Yeah,
reset.
that's a
So,
good point.
some people, this is not for everyone. Some people literally need to come in and sit in a quiet place and meditate
Yeah.
and do an hour of that. But I think we learn as we get older what does help us. So don't
Yeah.
discount your own gut feeling there. For me, if it's even just 10 minutes of a fast walk, something big,
Yes.
there is a point in every workout where your brain lets go of shit.
Yes.
And then the new positive energy can come in. So if you can hit that point and then just back it off, I think that might be my top way to let go of stress. And you
It,
never regret doing it. You definitely can
no.
regret not doing it.
I'm so glad that you said that because that was something I also learned from Jeff Galloway as well when I had gone into business for myself, and I would share with him like how I didn't know what there was it's coming at me for so many ways. How do I balance this, Jeff? And he was like, even just 10 to 15 minutes of movement, go walk, go even running 15 minutes, walking 15 minutes, whatever it is, the blood flow, it does, it literally resets it. So I think, you know what? I need to remember that. I
Yeah,
forget that.
it's like a walking
Yeah.
meditation. It's kind of like we're making up our own method.
Yeah. It is well, but your body,
It's true.
it releases different hormones. Actually allows you to think differently. So I love
Yeah.
that.
So get the
Great.
positive endorphins going. Do we have
Yes.
time for one more or we need to rock it?
One. I think, how about we do the ideas for healthy, easy to make food for busy women? And I'm going to
Yes.
throw that to you because again, I'm a failure on that side.
Oh my
Let's go.
gosh, you're not a failure because we all have different. Well, here's the key word, healthy. And I guess the other thing is easy to make. So,
Mhm.
I would say we all want food that makes us feel energized, not the opposite. What we reach
Yeah.
for is food that makes us feel the opposite or
Yep.
energized for like 1 minute of instant gratification. For me, it's really interesting. Over the past like decade, I crave vegetables in the middle of the day. I need my
Wow.
greens and I need vegetables. I don't need another freaking piece of peanut butter toast. Yet I
Yeah.
often do reach for the peanut butter toast, which isn't horrible. Um, but I would say a really awesome thing is to invest in a decent blender and get yourself some smoothie supplies. Because if you throw, I remember back in the day, I had a mentor in Laura American, the founder of Lara Bar. She's
Uh-huh.
amazing. And I watched her build that business. And I was just getting ready to start Skirt Sports, and they were like sponsoring me. And I remember going over and having lunch with her, but I'd be like, "What'd you have for breakfast?" And she's like, "I took a huge handful of greens and threw it in the blender. And then I threw this, that, and
Mhm.
whatever." And I was like, "Greens in the
Yeah.
blender in your smoothie?" I mean, now it's a thing, but you
Yeah.
can make the most amazing, energizing smoothies that can really carry you.
True.
I need a little bit of solid food alongside them.
Yep.
So I always just like to have a Lara bar or, even a little bit of that peanut butter on some kind of yummy cracker or something does help me. But those are easy to make if you have a good supply, a good
Yeah.
blender and you have all those yummy foods on hand. I would say my one of my other tricks is that I do a lot of batch cooking on the weekends.
Mhm.
And that is not necessarily quick. This didn't say quick, it said easy to make, healthy and easy to
Yep.
make. But if
Yep.
you can roast a massive tray of veggies, you can have it every day at some meal and throw it on greens, make it a salad, throw it on
Hmm.
top of a pasta, put it on this. I mean, that can go a long way.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
They keep, like, through the week?
Totally. And what
Hmm.
you do is at the grocery, you just pick up whatever's on sale that week, not rancid, but you know what I mean? Like, so in the winter, you're getting like turnips and beets and,
Like,
root
asparagus,
vegetables.
carrots.
Yeah, asparagus, totally. Carrots. I mean, roast a whole bag of carrots. I love
I
roasted carrots.
love roasted carrots.
And then you can throw,
Vegetables is I've never thought about batching them.
yeah,
What a
batch
great
them. Huge, one of those big
idea.
roasting trays. Today, I'm gonna
Interesting.
finish my batch from this, a few days
I
ago here,
love
but
that.
yeah, I mean, I think that's the trick is in
Yeah.
order to keep yourself healthy, you usually have to plan ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
And so when you can't plan ahead, do something like quick and easy, really healthy smoothies. They don't have to be fat free by any means. Throw avocados in there, throw nut butters in there, all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. But it's the batch cooking that really saves me.
I like that idea. Well, I will share a few of my tips. I am gluten-free, not by choice. So I have to be very careful with snacks and things like that. And I tend to my body responds better to heavy protein, those types of things. So I actually bought I do a lot of hard boiled eggs, and there you can buy this little timer, like a little egg timer that'll cook because I'm never good at like boiling them, right? So you have this little egg timer, and you set all your little eggs in there and you pour your water in and it'll cook them. I don't know, there you hit go and then it cooks them in, I don't know, 6 minutes, and then it goes beep when it's done. So that's great. I'll just throw those in the fridge and let them be cold, and you can kinda take them with you or not. I like, the Baby Bell cheese. So those are like 60, I think they're 60 to 80 calories, but very filling, which I love. I'll do pumpkin. So, nuts can have a lot of good protein, but they can also be heavy calories, heavy fat. Pumpkin seeds have the same kind of like protein content, but are not as heavy. You can have like 6 cashews and you've hit a serving size versus you can do a quarter cup of pumpkin seeds. And so you feel like you're getting a little bit more. So I love that. And you can get like spicy roasted ones and things like that. So I'll do a lot of those. And you can buy, it's hilarious, Nicole, because I'm sure you being a vegan, you're like, what is all this stuff he's eating?
It's not like I've never eaten it before.
Right, well,
Pumpkin
but
seeds are vegan,
it's
by
not
the
what
way.
your body consists of, right? Or what you're eating it consists of per se, but, I buy a lot of, they have, like, turkey pepperoni sticks or just even basic, um, pepperonis that, again, easy to grab, and I love, salads. So, you buy the big things of greens, and then you can just, to your point, take all the roasted vegetables, take your protein sources, your nuts, whatever it is, throw it on there, and then you have, some solid protein, vegetables, and then but it's pretty easy to make.
I
So,
think one of the big tricks is the night before at dinner, make enough for your serving for lunch tomorrow because we forget to do that. We eat it all and then we're like,
true.
oh crap, I wish I had made extra because this is perfect for lunch. Just
Yeah,
make extra, put it in the fridge before you
yeah,
even start your dinner and know that that's tomorrow.
that's a great point. That is
Boom. Nailed it.
done.
Sarah,
Yes.
I actually have a takeaway. Are we
You
done? We did it. We
We
did our
are, because I
first.
actually, you
Yeah.
know, my son needs his computer back for for
I love
homeschool.
it. Sarah's business computer
Right.
slash.
Well, we bought him a computer for Christmas, but it won't work with his, like, online stuff. Like, for some reason, it's not working well, so he uses mine all the time.
I love it. This is, you know what? This is how we make it happen.
It's life.
Well, then
So,
here's my
what's your
takeaway.
takeaway? Yes.
There is no bad question, only the regret of not asking it. So
Yes.
ask us questions. Send us emails. Send emails to Sarah from the Skirt Sports or
Mhm.
Zuma site. Send one to me, Nicole at NicoleDeBoom.com.
Yes.
Post them on our social media, message us, just ask us questions. What
Yeah.
do you want to hear? Whether we answer it or we get an expert to answer it, we will do our best because this podcast is all about you.
Yes. This is fun too. We definitely need to do this episode again. Nicole and Sarah answer all life's big questions.
Ask
Like,
us the big ones. All right, I think that's it for today.
yep.
Let's get your we want your son to
Oh, yeah. It's math
pass.
class. We're gonna enter. We've got to do math class right
Yeah,
now. So,
he's probably doing
yeah.
ratios or something.
And I just wanted to give a shout out again to all of our listeners that we're getting so much amazing feedback. Thank you for listening. Thanks for tuning in to hear what we have to say. We love your reviews. We love your thoughts and comments. And we're so glad you're here. So
And the Zuma races will be opening for registration soon.
they are.
And Skirt Sports, we still have some product left from the
Ooh,
winter launch, which launched at the beginning
you.
of this year. Not a whole lot left. So get on it and you can use the code
Yeah,
POD15 for 15% off.
that's right.
All right, everybody. I think we nailed it.
We
Sarah?
did. Nicole, over and out. We'll see you next episode. Bye.